Season 1, Episode 14, Personal Health and Wellness.
I am Jim.
And I'm Hisham, and this is
the Quantumly Leaping Podcast.
First time we do it together.
Yes, we are at Coronation Park in downtown Toronto, in a beautiful park here. What you don't see behind the camera is Lake Ontario. There's boats and all that. There's people all around here, and we had discussed yesterday on doing something different. So we're here on a park bench, and we're going to be talking about a cool topic today.
Yeah, and it's the first time that we're doing this in person.
Yes.
Not on screen to screen.
No, yes.
But because we cannot go to the library or anywhere else.
Yes.
Just to do that. So the park is a very nice place.
It is a beautiful
As
park.
You can see trees, people.
There's a baseball diamond.
Yeah.
People are having parties here. They're breaking piñatas, which I don't understand.
Yeah. And this is one of the things that we told the people about. You remember when we talked about the reopening the economy?
Yes.
Few couple episodes before.
Yes.
It is started to reopen.
Yes.
And
We're in stage two.
But it's exactly the way we told it to people.
Yes.
So now we are oracles.
I guess. So,
Yeah.
So today's episode is on personal health.
Yes.
And it's something that I took ownership of a little bit and made some notes throughout the week. I sent them to Hisham, and he looked them over and he said, good. And then he said, let's do this outside. I said, you know what, that's a good idea. So we're here and we're excited to do this. So we're going to get started here shortly. But I'd just like to say that, I talked to a lot of different people. A good friend of mine who's a doctor. I've written some articles. I've consulted some books. And, at the end of the day, I just want to state that, we're going to talk about all different things. But at the end of the day, I just want to say on a professional level is consult your doctor. Your health is important. So we are not doctors, but we have enough experience and knowledge that we can give you some general advice. But again, talk to your doctor.
Yeah, this is a very important disclaimer. We're not saying that we're health experts in any way. It's just, something that happened to us. As every topic, we're talking from personal experience. Mm-hmm. We would just like to bring these topics to a global conversation. So
Yes.
People start talking about that and they pay attention to these topics because it's very, very important. And without further ado, we're gonna head to our first topic of the day. And it's about food. In other words, what do you put in your pie hole? And this is very important because from a personal experience, I was having a very bad eating habits. I was traveling too much, eating this crap on the airplanes for years, which caused me personally to have a problem with my gallbladder. I ended up doing a surgery to remove my gallbladder. And this is why I think it's really important to talk about what exactly should you eat and you shouldn't. Of course, everybody is different. You're the best judge of that. But there are common things that are just bad. Just bad habits, just bad kind of a food. And I'm gonna stop talking because I know that you have another bad experience about that as well.
Yeah, so since we're being authentic here on Quantum Leaping Podcast, when I was 16 years old, which is long ago, don't have to figure out the date, I was at a Greek church, which is my church, was Isaac Demetrius Church here in Toronto. I had too many pizzas and too many Cokes in a very short period of time. And that ended me in the hospital and with appendicitis. My appendix burst, and I have a scar to this day. I'm not going to show you, but you can imagine. And I'm in blessed company. Mel Gibson doesn't have an appendix. His appendix burst. Filming a movie, they had to take him via airplane to get up the thing. And a few other actors that I know have lost their appendixes and all that. Later in life, for me, I wouldn't say I was the healthiest person. I was very active when I was younger, and I'm glad that I was, but I wasn't the fittest. And I'll share a little bit later on, but it came to the point about 2003, my doctor says, Jim, if you go on this, to continue on this course, we're gonna have problems. And that was a wake-up call for me, and I did something about it. But I felt that the food you eat is important. I'll share a funny story, and then we'll get back to it. I mean, Hashem and I know each other for about 4 years. And the funny thing is, Hashem and I, we have very different eating habits. So we go. We have a lot of mutual groups that we have crossed paths with, and it's always kind of funny to see Hisham order something from a restaurant, because many restaurants don't have stuff on their menu. They're starting to now, but they're not. Even for myself, I was trying to find. And I've done a lot of traveling too, so we've had our challenges trying to find something to eat. I traveled in the States quite a bit. And I took a trip to Dallas many years ago through to San Antonio. I suffered food poisoning because I couldn't find something healthy to eat. And I've had food poisoning many times in my life. And it's because of, bad mayo and all that. So, you are what you eat. And you hear that saying, but at the end of the day is you have to be a little more cognizant of what you eat. So one of the tips I'm going to start off with is write it down. One of the best tips I got from I worked out. I was a gym rat for many years. One of the things that the gym asked me to write down is what you eat. I wrote down for 5 days what I ate. It was very eye-opening. What I was eating. And then before then, pre 2003, I used to drink a lot of Cokes and chocolate bars. It was like chocolate. But the minute I cut that stuff out, my weight dropped. And plus, I was walking a lot for the particular job I was doing. But now I'm fast forward, I'm my late 40s, and I still cycle, I walk, I play basketball, and people ask me sometimes, how old are you? I tell them, I was, really? You sure you play like you're 30? And I think that's a compliment, but your body does change as you get older, and your metabolism changes. True fact. I got a book here by David Patchell-Evans, the founder of, called Living the Good Life. And many of the books that I've read talk about as you go through life, your metabolism changes. So what you eat is very important. No matter what diversity you are, where you've come from, you have to be more cognizant of what you're eating. So I eat a Mediterranean type of diet, food, probably less meat than I have in the past. So I just want to give you some context for myself. So we're back to you.
Yeah, and as you said, when you're younger, when you're in your teenage or your 20s, until even your mid-30s or something, your body takes care of you. Like you're young, you burn calories, and you're active, and you do that. But after that, it's gonna be the other way around.
Yes.
You have to take care of your own body, and it becomes like challenging that like I cannot just eat anything anymore. I cannot just eat anything anytime, and I have to take care of this because it doesn't work the other way like it was before. I have to do it the other way around.
I'll add a quick story. I do work in the movie industry, and for the last 5 years, and let me tell you, the food that they fed us wasn't bad food, but sometimes it was like decision as to, do I really want to eat this? And that was part of my challenge for myself personally. Is I knew that I was gonna have this food, the next day wasn't gonna be pretty. We'll just keep it that way. And everybody agreed with me. Like, we all knew that the next day wasn't gonna be good. But we had no choice. We can't bring our own food all the time. So it's been, even the last 4 or 5 years, like Hisham says, I've been traveling a lot, doing movies, special projects. I didn't have 2 square meals a day. And it was challenging. I did a lot of special projects, which were 15 hours, 3 days in a row. Food, that was just, water was my biggest thing. So those are different challenges you face, and it's not impossible, but you have to be more cognizant and more of what you're putting, what you're in, good out, bad in, bad out. So back to you.
Just a quick thing, we have to be cognizant of your mic, because it's giving like a...
Okay.
Yeah, you put it on the other way around.
There you go.
There we go. See?
Okay.
This is one of the perks of doing things outside.
Yes.
Filmmaker's life.
Okay.
You know.
There you go.
But back to our topic.
Yeah.
I think what we want to finish up with when it comes to food is like, you hear a lot, and some people say, oh, go vegetarian, go vegan, eat meat, don't eat meat. This is bad, this is good. You know, when I look at all of that, because I had a lot of other experiences, I would say, you know, don't listen to everything. And don't just say, oh, this is what I should do. Oh no, this is what you have to listen to your body. You have to listen to what the reactions that your body do when you eat something. I have realized that in like it was not an early stage in my life, and I'm not proud of it, but I was traveling a lot and I was eating a lot of things. But once I started listening to my body, once I started to hear like, okay, so I don't want to be vegetarian or vegan or not. I don't eat meat generally, but I eat some other things. I eat fish sometimes, and I eat eggs and protein. You don't have to go through like, oh, I'm gonna vegan. I'm gonna go. It's up to you, of course, if you want to be vegan. It's just don't do it because you hear it's good or you hear it's bad, or because someone told you, since I moved into that direction, my life changed. This is their life. This is their body, and that's their choice. You have to make your own choice. It's, again, his experience is different than mine. He still eats different things than I eat, but that's what works for him, and that's what works for me.
And let me tell you, if you ever do come to Toronto and you want to go to some good food places, Hisham knows some good places. We've gone to the hummus place near Ryerson. So the good thing is you get to find some, like in Toronto, we have some good, I guess, hidden treasures of food. So if anybody who's come to Toronto, you can look us up. We definitely have some food places to check out.
Many of them are in, that place is literally underground.
It is.
And I'm not meaning that in a bad way. No, it is physically underground.
And it's really good. It's really good.
Exactly.
We haven't gone, we have to go later in the year again.
COVID-19. COVID-19. It's killing us.
We went there in February.
Yeah,
but
right before
this started. But like I said, the only thing I'll add is to what Hisham says is I agree with everything, and I think listen to something he just said about listening to your body. I think it's important that you listen to your body. But for me, I'll tell you a quick story. I mean, I like chocolate. You know that I go shopping and I look at chocolate, and sometimes my subconscious has a conversation with the chocolate. You know, come, happy, buy me. Mm-hmm. I know. I mean, I think it's funny, but your subconscious, your brain plays games with you sometimes. And I don't eat chocolate, and I'm okay with it. I maybe, you know, Halloween and all that, or during Greek festivities and all that we have. But again, it's totally okay to have a cheat day, to have, you know, like I haven't had a hamburger, man, how long? So once a year, I have McDonald's. So I go, I eat, I take pictures, I put it on Instagram. So the thing I'm saying is, have some fun with it, you know, with a little bit, you know, in some way. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, and so I think this will move us to our second topic, because right now, restaurants started to open, and people would start to go. I mean, there's like a distancing and all of these things. But there's something that is very important to remember in these times, these, let's say, tough times.
Yeah.
And it's wherever you go, if it's a restaurant or whatever, but because restaurants is where you eat, is to keep your personal hygiene.
Yes.
You know, Jim remembers when we first met 4 years ago. I was this guy who's carrying the, you know, these guys.
Oh my God, where's mine? I got
the hand sanitizer all the time. Still, since 2003, since the what was it? It was SARS, right?
Okay, hold on. I got.
Yeah, but it's remember there's SARS, SARS, and then there was N1H1 or H1N1.
Yeah,
I forgot. You know, I remember that. But here's the thing: like since that time, I was working in Qatar, and it was way less than coronavirus. But I still remember I had a mobile there and all, and the Qatari government was sending us all the time messages on personal hygiene and all of these things.
Yeah.
Every place you go was having those, sanitizers everywhere, every mall, every office, everywhere.
Yeah, during SARS, they had that here, but that was about it for SARS. They had that everywhere.
Yeah, but it became a habit.
Yeah.
For that, and since that time, and at least to me, I always carry that, and I know a lot of people who used to live there or in that part of the world. It just became like a habit. And you know what? See people right now talking about personal hygiene, and I'm talking about other things like the habits in the bathroom or toiletry or anything. Why are we talking like this about this right now? That is something that we should always do.
So just to give you a little context, when COVID hit, people went and bought toilet paper by the hundreds. Okay, so we went through toilet paper because people will say we're not funny enough, so we gotta have this funny moment. So we didn't buy toilet paper. Then now, you know what the craze is? Masks. Now, Fashionista Central masks. I didn't bring mine. I have the 9 masks. I have a cycle. So this is my mask. I have a cycling mesh mask. Let me tell you, commercials. Friends are calling me to email to sell masks. It's the thing to do now. Like I got a Raptor mask. I got a Canada mask that people went crazy over. So, something general. But now it's like the thing. Like, do we wash your hands? Like wash your hands.
Why is this new to people?
Wash your hands. I know people, you might think we're saying this is a little cuckoo, but I'm telling you, these are general things that the media is telling us over and over and over again. Full page ads in the paper. So for me, a quick story, when I worked as an inventory control in a previous life, and I would go wash my hands about 20 times a day. Wash my hands. And it was the point where people were like, are you like a germaphobe? Because I was working so many boxes, I don't know if I'd probably end up getting gloves, but at the end of the day, because I use a gun and I couldn't use gloves because I needed my fingers, but I wash my hands 20 times a day. It wasn't a big deal, but your hands get dirty over the day. But it's something that this COVID showcased the fact of personal hygiene.
Yeah,
and that how it was brought to we think from we treat it as a 7 or 8. It was like 20. You got to do this. So
it was below 0, and that's my point. I mean, even before SARS, washing our hands was a very important thing. keeping yourself clean up in the toiletry or anything like that was there even before SARS. Now, SARS brought in some things like hand sanitizers and all that, but I see people who were shocked to know that you should wash your hand after you're done crapping. I was like, what?
Well, still people go to the bathroom and do their stuff and don't wash their hands. I've seen it, and it's still even before COVID. So let me do it. I know, sorry, TMI, but it does happen still.
I used to see that all the time in malls, in public parks, and I was like, ew.
Yeah, it still happens. So, personal hygiene, please wash your hands.
Yeah, and here's the thing, because with this virus, this is really dangerous. This virus is very tricky.
Yes,
it is so tricky. If you touch something and then touch your face or your mouth or your eyes or your nose, it could get into your body. Yeah. And it could kill you, by the way. I hope that I can say it in a different way, but it is what it is.
And the thing is, we do touch our face. We do touch our
25 times in average.
And something you may not think
in an hour. I believe.
You do. How many surfaces do you touch? Mike, I touch this. So we do it, and I think that it's almost a little ridiculous that. Why wasn't it important before, but now it's more important more than ever. But like I said, we're gradually here in stage 2. We're getting better here in Toronto. The curve is flattening and you know.
We're getting down a little bit. I mean,
We're-
the numbers are
getting down. Compared to the States, we're flat. Compared to a U.S.
Can we not talk about the States, for God's sake?
Do we have to? Oh, you don't want to?
When we talk about curves and
Okay.
because
Yeah. We learn new language. So.
I just don't want
Okay.
our audience to because they always tell us that we're so heavy on them.
Yes.
And this topic was supposed to be the lighter topic.
Yes.
This is going to be
All
too
right.
much for them.
We're gonna keep moving forward. All right.
Yeah.
So.
No, but there's a still thing that I wanted to talk about hygiene, and
Okay.
it's like general things. You know, I've heard as well. Like for example, yesterday or the day before, that you know, now it's also summer, and it's, you know, the time where, you know, insects comes out.
Yes. There's a bunch here tonight.
Yeah, and
There was a spider on my stuff here. So.
no, but what I'm not worried about spiders. I'm worried about
I
two
am.
things. You know, like mosquitoes.
Yes.
Mosquitoes are the biggest killer
Yeah.
of the human species because of the, you know, the viruses they carry and the diseases they carry from a human to another or from a place to another.
Yes.
And it's really scary, and that is now with the climate change, which is another topic we talked about.
If we did,
we can also
we covered that.
yes. I've heard that report that because of the climate change and it's getting more the heat. I mean, now this is a very hot summer.
Oh, yeah.
They breed faster
Yeah.
and they breed more, which gives them the chance to spread more diseases.
Wow.
And in your house, there are those small ticks, and you know those small bugs
Yeah.
that are, you know, that like they suck your blood,
Yeah.
and people think they're just like harmless. You can just and they just. But here's one thing story that I've heard also. I don't want people to you know to panic, but in 18 something, people in a farm in Europe, I believe, you know, one morning they open their eyes, they wake up to a bull that was dead and his blood was sucked dry.
Yeah.
At that time, of course, they thought it was, you know, vampires. You know, that was 18 something. But when investigation happened, it was actually like 1800 or something ticks attacked him and they sucked his blood
Really, eh?
dry.
Wow.
You know what a bull size is?
Yes.
Is a big thing.
Yeah, it is. Yes.
Yeah, and what I've heard, what I'm bringing this for is because I've heard that mosquitoes and ticks and all those other insects, they attracted to your body when it's sweaty, when you don't shower, when there's layers and layers of sweat and dead cells on your body. So that's another very important thing. Showering, keeping your body clean up, is gonna get those things away.
Yes.
You know, because some people use, I have this chemicals, you know, that you put to keep them out, but they say that they're not effective if your body is not showered well, and all of those dead cells are there, mixed up with sweat and all of that.
Yeah.
So they keep coming onto you with these kinds of insects. They keep coming, and this is also killer. You know, like mosquitoes.
Yes.
In the report that they are believed to have killed tens of millions. We don't even know if there's more. I mean, since the beginning of registering you know, how they react and doing, tens of millions of people were killed because of them. So this is very important. It becomes really important that this is another factor where it's very important to keep yourself hygiene and you know, and go forward with showering, cleaning your hands and all of these things, not just for the coronavirus, you know.
I agree,
like,
I agree.
Coronavirus is an eye-opener, but there's a lot of other things, which leads us to our third topic.
Yes.
About daily habits.
Yes.
Because showering is one of the daily habits that you have, but there's a lot of other things to keep your because, you know, showering is maybe a daily habit for hygiene, but we're talking about daily habits generally for your for your health.
One of them, I think, important is sleep.
Sleep cycles.
Sleep cycles, and I've done a little bit of research on this, and I've had some I would say some bad experiences. So many of you, I don't know if I've told you now, but I've been in the movie industry. So last summer, it was very busy last summer, very busy. And one particular week, 2 particular weeks. So one week I worked on a show called Suits for 3 days. And
That's the one with Meghan Markle?
Yes, she had left already. Now, the first day of shooting, the night before, I was on another show called Miss America. So I finished Miss America at 11. I had to be at Suits at 7:30. Well, let me tell you, by the time I got back, went to sleep and woke up the next day, I was a zombie. And so it happened 4 or 5 times in my life. I'm a big zombie fan. We'll get into that another podcast. I was falling asleep on set. People were knocking me over during the marriage scene, like keeping me awake. And I didn't want to spend time in holding. And I was falling asleep. It was bad. And many of us were also from, not just myself, many other of us were from that set. And then I was on a set of Umbrella Academy, 4 days, 15-hour days. Sleep cycle was shot. By the time Friday came around, I slept all day Friday. So it's personally happened to me, and you don't appreciate till something like that happens. So many of the books I've read talk about having between 8 and 9 hours, some say 10, but a regular sleep cycle. Go to bed at a certain time, wake up. I know it seems like a very general recommendation, but once it gets thrown out of whack, believe me, you feel it. I've had other instances when I first started in the movie industry. I was doing special projects. My sleep patterns got thrown out of whack, thinking, oh, I can handle it. No, your body will tell you.
Sometimes it tells you too late.
Too late, and you do Red Bull. Believe me, I tried little tricks.
Come on.
No, I did. Admittedly, I did. I tried some tricks, and it didn't work. So all I have to tell you is sleep schedules. Use your phone. Do
Fitbits. Everybody
Fitbit. I have a Fitbit
or smartphone.
Watches. Use the technology that you have to do it. I cannot tell you. I'm telling you these personal examples how important it is, because every book that I've read always talks about daily habits. So sleep patterns, sleep at a certain time, wake up at a certain time, as much as possible. So next one.
Yeah, I just want to say that one of the problems that I have with my gallbladder is caused by sleep cycles, because sleep cycles, believe it or not, they affect your metabolism.
Yes.
So when I was traveling a lot, getting jet lagged, not having a lot of nice sleep, with a mixture of the airplane crappy food and all of these things, that builds way too much fat into your body, which actually what causes the gallstones. It's because too much fat and your body cannot just process it, and so it just gets accumulates into your gallbladder, and it creates those stones. It was a big stones, by the way. It's like 6 by 19.
Yes.
6 by 19.
I had a friend who's going through that right now. So.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Is like sleep cycle is not just, and it affects also your mentality. It affects your mental state.
Yep.
Some people are, being all the day anxious and angry, and all of that is because of sleep cycle. So it's just not just one effect, one bad effect. It's a lot of other things, and sleep cycles also is connected with meals.
Yes.
Because you usually have, breakfast. I don't have breakfast usually, but this is my body. But and by the way, as just before we go to meals, like when you said about 8 hours or something like, it's also upon the body. Like my body is like mostly 6 to 7 hours. But this is how. But I know it now.
Yeah.
I know that I have to take those 6 hours. Because if I cut them, sometimes it happens. You cannot have, but you cut them sometimes because you have a lot of work to do, and then you come to a sleep another time, and you find that you slept other 6 hours, and that screws up your whole schedule. You need like a couple of days to get that back, which is not good. So it's just important to know what's your sleep cycle, by what the hours that you need for that, and you adjust your sleep cycles. But this also comes into meals, because the time that you are awake is the time that you would have meals. You cannot eat while you're sleeping, by the way, even if you dream it, and it's very vivid. But so you wake up. Like half an hour or an hour after you wake, you have breakfast. In the middle of the day, you have your lunch, and then before you sleep, a while before you sleep, you have your dinner. And this that cycle of meals depending on your sleep cycle, and it is very important because on the breakfast you have to have something like not too light, like nutrition. Maybe I don't eat, as I said, I don't eat breakfast, but I eat some biscuits or something like that, because it's kind of like sugar that's full of carbs, gives you the energy that you need until the lunch. And then the lunch is usually the meal that it needs to be like a little bit the heaviest meal, because it's mid of the day and you need to carry on. Usually you're at work and you need something to keep you charging and you keep it going. And then dinner, which is you eat, and then after that you sleep. So it has to be something light, and you have to eat it a while before you sleep, because if you eat then you sleep, that is way too bad. Your body sleeps with you, so your metabolism gets gets slower, right?
Yeah, and this is interesting about eating. I spoke to a few people about this actually, and it's interesting that I have breakfast. I always have had breakfast. There's many people that don't have breakfast, or have a light lunch and then I have a heavier dinner. And for me, the last 5 years, I have to tell you, the context of the last 5 years have been definitely the hardest for me, in many ways, because of the time frames that I'm working, where I'm at, if I'm away.
And you told me sometimes they call you on set at night or very early in the morning. It messes you up. Yeah. And you feel it. And trust me, the food that we get is not great. Sometimes we get some good food. Sometimes we get good food. But overall, all of us are like in almost like, it's not also about good or bad food. No, it's not the food that you usually eat.
Eating, yes.
It's also breaking your meal cycle.
It is, and
it's not the type of food that I.
And all the people that I know, like there's all ages, all diversities, and the main thing when we're eating is we're all looking at each other, going, "Oh, we're gonna feel this tomorrow." Like we all look at each other, and we're all passionate about being in the movie industry, doing special projects. And even Hisham and I, when we were out doing an event, I remember a couple of years ago, and we were hustling. We were doing interviews. It was at the Rebel nightclub.
Oh yeah.
And we did we thank God they had water. They had water. Remember, water and cookies and chips, because we did about 9 interviews that day. Good interviews, by the way, and they were we had a nice spot. But the thing is, you have that water and all that, but then when you get back, 11 o'clock at night, I was hungry, right? So again, the main part about this personal habits is be cognizant of them. I would say is the best word to use. Be cognizant of that, and understand your body, because your body will tell you. My doctor, I suffered a thing called a man cold last year, and it got a lot of dissension between me and my doctor. My doctor is awesome. And he said to me one thing: your body will tell you when you're feeling better. And it knocked me out for about 9 days. I was rough. Yeah, I know. 12 days. And sitting there, watching DVD movies, which wasn't that exciting. But I couldn't do anything.
There's a theory that says that was the first coronavirus wave.
He says it was a man cold. But the thing is, at the end of the day, I've suffered other little episodes because of food that I've had. So just be cognizant. There's lots of great books. We're gonna list some materials at the end of this podcast of books and some resources that I vetted that you can look into. Because the thing is, just because we do a podcast, ladies and gentlemen, we actually do research. I've said this again, and I'll say it again. We talk about this. We discuss. We make notes. And we discuss it. because we appreciate people listening. We're nearing some big goals with this podcast, and I think it's because people are
we need to be
enjoying.
responsible for
We're not responsible, but they're appreciating that we're actually putting effort into the topic we're discussing. So I'm very, I'm great that I'm excited that we're talking about this. But again, the context is be cognizant of yourself, read books, talk to your doctor, and all that, because it does affect you.
Listen to your body.
Listen to your body
as well.
All right, back to you.
The other thing is like snacking between meals is not good, but I would tell you water is really good. Water is really
6
good.
glasses a day I have.
Yes.
6 glasses a day I have.
I have more. My body consumes a lot, but this is
no touching.
Yes,
Virtual high five.
Yeah, air high five.
Air high five.
Yeah, but this is the important thing is, I know that my body consumes a lot of water, so I just listen to that one. But now it's just would also lead us to our last topic, which is also personal fitness.
Personal fitness.
Yeah.
Boy, how much time do we have?
We still have a little bit.
Boy, this one, I told you, Sham, I can talk for an hour. So I'll start this off. So if there's a poster child for personal fitness for a guy who's in his late 40s, I'm your guy. And I'm saying this in the sense of that. So while this camera now is recording on the handlebars of my bike. You can laugh now, ladies and gentlemen. So Hashem comes.
You can share the photo later.
Yeah, I can share the photo later. So the cam is mounted on the handlebar of my bike. Okay? Just to let you know how hilarious it is. I'm looking at my bike. So what I've realized even pre-COVID, during COVID, post-COVID, that I had to get out. So I went for walks. You're free to go. I give you permission to go for a walk in the morning, go for a walk during work. Don't take the elevator, go 5-6 flights down, go crossways. I've written an article many years ago called Making a Healthy Life for a big logistics company, and I talked about this. So I give you permission right now. As far as I cycle almost an hour and a half every day. Every day I cycle from probably April till November. Give you permission again to cycle. If you're not a cyclist, there's lots of things you can do.
Walking.
Every book I read, walking 30 minutes a day, every day, is the best thing that the health professionals request. Why? Using all your body, using your arms, your legs, walking. The simplest thing that you can do. Also is light working out. Light weights doesn't hurt. Cycling. There's parks here in the Toronto area where you can actually cycle inside a park. They mounted these bikes and some of these bikes. So there's little things you can do throughout the day. So again, there's resources we can post at the end of this podcast. Go to the library, borrow books, ask friends who are doing this. Lots of things throughout the year. Here in Canada, we go through 4 seasons. So our season has changed, so we adapt fairly quickly. And let me tell you, in February, I quenched through that winter storm, because Shem just did a talk downtown, and I went through freaking the worst snowstorm because I went to support him, take some pictures. I was so miserable.
It was a snowmageddon.
Yeah, snowmageddon. I know, because Shem did a great talk and all that, but it was like, I was so pissed getting there, so pissed leaving. I was like, the talk was great. The talks were phenomenal. The guy before you was actually great too. But I've battled the elements to do that. So daily habit, personal habits are so important. So please make an effort. This is another reason why I wanted to do this episode, is to share some of our personal experience and give you maybe some framework of what to do. So
and the thing here is, a lot of people, when you say about personal fitness, they think it's like, this is where about gym, going to gym. It's not. No. I mean, during COVID-19, the gyms were closed for like 3 months.
Well, I was a gym rat the gyms are closed.
Yeah,
so
I mean, like
my brother goes to me. Yeah, my brother. I tell you, my brother. I have a younger brother. He's 4 years younger than me. I'm zooming. I'm working out via Zoom.
That was what is happening. A lot of
my brother's he's younger, a little thinner, better looking. Not better looking, but he's working out Zoom, and he says, "Can I borrow the weights? Because we have a weight set that we've had for since 1980." and it's gone back and forth. He wants to bore it after he gets rid of a few things in his basement, and he wants to bore the weight set again. Knock yourself out, you know. So, but again, it doesn't matter. You have to do that, and I can't tell you enough how important it is that you can take some small steps to do that. You know, my parents both go walking. My dad is starting to go a little bit walking now because COVID kind of scared him a little bit, but he's out there. But again, simple things. And yes, it's hot during lunchtime, so it's hard to go for a walk. Even in the morning, oh my God, I go in the morning early in 11 o'clock, I am drenching in water by the time I'm back. So it's hot here in Toronto the next
and
5
for the
days.
people who think that Canada is cold, come in summer and we will show you.
It is.
We will show you how cold it is.
So that's why
it's really hot.
Yeah, it's really hot. So again, there's resources. There's no reason we're just giving you a few here. Even these few that we give you, I think, is a good framework to do that.
But it's good to break a sweat in hotness.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is.
You know, like
absolutely is.
Because sweating means you're burning calories.
Yes. Yeah.
This is how your body acts when it burns a lot, and it's the internal heat rises up. The sweat comes out because it wants to lower the body temperature. Not too much. I mean, not overdo it. Yeah. But what meaning is when you're sweating out, that means you're doing the effort. You're burning calories.
Yeah, and I was actually sharing with someone on the phone, and one of the things that I didn't realize is you inspire others. So I met a gentleman, talked to a gentleman a few days ago. He's suffered an injury, so hasn't been working out. He's gained a fair amount of weight, and he said to me, "You inspire me to at least go for a walk." He said to me, and I was like, "Wow, you know, I wasn't making him feel bad. He just says maybe I should just go for a walk." You know?
Yeah.
He didn't think about that. Like, you know, I can I'll tell you in two hands on what activities that I've done during now just stage 2. I've played tennis, football, frisbee, ping pong, all sorts of little activities that you can do that at least get your body moving. And I was playing basketball last week, and the gentleman says, "Man, you're very it looks like you're very flexible." And he was impressed, and I was running off the court, and they were grabbing, pushing me. I don't know what the heck that was all about, but again, he was impressed with my physicality, which is a word I don't use that often. But in general, people notice, and that may feel good because I know that I'm still trying to release a little bit of weight, and release is a technical term. But again, this is making the effort to do so. So,
and, you know, there's a simple thing that people can do. Like I do it. I mean, like you can dance.
You can dance.
I'm serious. I mean, dancing gets you.
I'm a huge merengue dancer and all that. I haven't done that much lately, but I was for about from 2003 to 15. I can dance a good merengue. Maybe that's another podcast another day.
I'm a horrible dancer, but I dance to myself sometimes. I just put that while I'm home.
Yeah.
You just put this, so you have your iPod and put that. You know.
He's a musician, by the way. He's a musician.
Yeah.
He's a musician.
We told him that.
We told him that. He's a musician.
I have a degree
and by the way, I am an upcoming musician. Since you want to hear some breaking news at the end of this podcast, I have a guitar. I'm starting to.
Maybe you can write some music for workouts.
Yeah, and also have a Baroque flute. So I think Hisham almost fell over when he heard something. I got the flute.
That was way before, you know, gym music and kind of like that. But the guitar you can use to create some music for workouts.
Future episodes, maybe I'll do a little guitar. So stay tuned and all that. So I don't know, we'll wrap it up or anything else?
Yeah, well, the last thing about when we talk about this topic is that you can have your own small gym at your house. I saw people buying Pilates, which is a very, very affordable thing. You can work that at home. Some of them like buying weights, the small sizes, doing that at home. Again, you can walk, run, jog, bike, you know. There's a lot of things that you can do. I don't want to be insensitive to other people around the world, but we have a lot of parks in this country.
Yes, we do.
Everywhere. Like I discovered, and COVID made me discover that. A couple of weeks ago, I discovered that there's a huge park near just 10 minutes from my house. and it's 3 big parks that comes from my house to another area. It's a huge park. I cannot, I can't describe it for you because the people who are not living here. It's a huge park, and since then, mostly every day or every other day, I go to that park and walk.
Yeah.
And I started inviting my friends, by the way.
Yeah.
They were coming, some of them. I was like, but one of my friends is my neighbor, actually.
Okay.
And he lives, and he's like, I never heard about. I heard it's something.
Yeah.
I said, this is the one of the golf? I said, that's a closed thing.
Yeah.
That's a private property, but there's another park besides it.
Yeah.
And we went through it for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And we didn't finish half of it.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I invited a friend down to play tennis a couple of weeks ago. Social distancing, and we found this place called Stanley Park, which is just about north of here. And he said to me, he goes, "Wow, downtown you have a lot of greenery." And I said, "Yeah, we do. We're very blessed. We have High Park and all that. So lots of great spaces to sit down and enjoy yourself."
Yeah, and this is the Coronation Park. This
is Coronation Park.
Place.
It's thinning out a little bit, behind us, but there's a lot of people still around. But again, it was great to do this outside.
It's fun. Right?
It is fun, and we will get back into the studio soon. But we may do some other locations here in Toronto in the coming weeks. Hisham suggested to me this last night, and I was like, you know what? This is a good idea. So we got a good spot today. We got an open picnic table here. So with that, thanks everybody for listening and watching.
But just before we go,
Yes.
we have some announcements that we said.
Okay.
So we might have some break in the upcoming weeks.
Okay.
For that matter,
Okay.
we have some episodes. We will let you know, but we'll have some break because everybody's out. It's summer. People are enjoying time.
Yes. Well, we've done I think 15. We've done 15 episodes. About 15 or so.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of topics. There's no shortage of topics, but it's something that we appreciate everybody for listening to the show, watching the show. We're about to hit some major goals here soon. So stay tuned and look forward to sharing some more insightful information to you in the coming weeks.
Yeah, and stay safe. The weather is nice, so go outside. There are people here who are, they're on rollerblades.
Rollerblades, yes.
So there's another way to go and practice.
I went rollerblading last week. I did that. I did rollerblading.
Yeah. Just keep in mind that you keep safe. Wear a mask if you cannot social distance. And
Wear a mask.
I think that we're having also, as we expected in our episode about reopening, there's going to be bylaws to mandatory wearing the masks in closed areas. So mandatory or not, wear a mask when you cannot social distance, specifically in the closed areas, because this is where the virus, be happy because he can spread a lot. So keep safe.
Yes. So hi, bye from Jim.
And this is Hisham, and keep listening to us. We still have a lot.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.